Y'all killing me with this.
Welcome to Lost Aux Media. Thank you again for joining us. This is a podcast where the main goal is really to make you take a second look at what it was that you just watched. We're focusing on mainly comedians and certain celebrities in the main spotlight. And recently, there was a comedian, Sam Morril, who just released this new comedy special, came out on Amazon Prime. I thought that was kind of interesting because the last time he had a comedy special came out on Netflix. Comedy special ended up not being that good. So I have a inclination or a thought maybe that Netflix might not have wanted to buy this one. They might have said, hey, Sam, kick rocks. Your shit sucks. And I got to tell you, he got this promo that he did with Rick Flair. And they're trying to make it like, oh, it's Sam Morril. He's going to be the fucking craziest thing. I'm Rick Flair. Woo! And I saw the special and it was dog shit. It was bad. We're not even going to push you through this special. I can't do it to you folks. But what I can do is we can take a look at this promo that he posted online. I don't know how you would think that this was going to be like some like promo that was going to be like, this is going to embody my comedy special, because it didn't. Or maybe it did, because Ric Flair's kind of old, washed up kind of, celebrity that kind of no one really cares about now. He does stupid shit, like he gets in drunken fights with people in public. They record him and he's like, I'm still the man. And it's really, everybody's just looking at you like an old drunk asshole. So maybe that's why Sam wanted to do his promo with him, because Sam's comedy special is kind of just like old hacky 90s jokes. Like he starts with a boner joke, then it goes into like travel jokes. These comedians, all they do is travel. So it ends up being the only thing they talk about. They have no other relative material because they're not living their normal lives. They're just constantly on the road. So his whole special is kind of just reminds me of like Jerry Seinfeld kind of being like, well, what's up with airplane peanuts? Like, you know what I mean? It's bullshit. So maybe this was the perfect promo.
Sam Morril, you changed. This is the next more Ric Flair. Amazon, July 9th. Tune in. Greatest show on earth. This comes from the one and only limousine riding, private jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling to the son of a gun that has kissed all the good.
Look, you can't even understand Ric Flair. He hasn't even made this a 28-second promo. I haven't understood shit he said. We're 19 seconds in. He's got 9 seconds to say something that anyone understands. Like Sam had to put captions on this goddamn promo. They're doing a Burt show. What is that? Something's Burning. I couldn't imagine. You would have to be drunk to put up with Ric Flair and Burt in the same goddamn room. And you would have to be drunk to eat anything that's coming off of Burt's fucking hands, dude. That is just insanity. This guy is drinking Kool-Aid at 9 a.m. I could only imagine what his fucking hygiene routine is like.
In this room today and made them cry. Woo! Woo! Woo!
Look at Burt. Burt's got diabetes, and fucking Ric Flair looks like a blueberry that somebody's about to squish in between their goddamn fingers. This is insanity. And like I said, we're not putting you through the special because it was just, can't do it to you folks. I can't do it to you. Shame on, fool me once. Shame on you. I can't put you guys through this. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to finish that. I'm a little smoking at a yerb. You know what I mean? We done a little yerb today, so we're going to be talking nonsense as well. I hate to break it to you. But this was funny. A podcast I haven't seen in a while. We're still on Sam Morril, by the way. A podcast I have not seen in a while. It was TigerBelly. I kind of fell off the TigerBelly train after Bobby and Kalila broke up. Kalila just seems like a skeevy, conniving bitch to me. I'm sorry. Something about her just disgusting, you know? Putting Bobby through hell. But it kind of deserves it because Bobby's stupid enough to still co-host a podcast with her. So, I mean, who's the real dummy here? The reason I bring up TigerBelly is because Sam just had this special come out, right? And he just had this episode of TigerBelly come out 2 days ago. I think that's actually the day his special came out, as of the time of this recording. Now, usually you have a special, you go on all these different podcasts, you want to promote the thing. But Sam ends up getting his podcast crashed by none other than Rick Glassman. And I'm going to tell you right now, Rick, there's something about this Rick Glassman that he like sucks all the oxygen out the room. The second he walks into a room, he immediately is commanding every aspect of what's happening. Doesn't matter if it's his show, if it's your show, Rick is going to make something out of it, whether you like it or not. And it's going to be all by his rules. And he does, nothing short of that, crashing this episode of TigerBelly, which, mind you, once again, is supposed to be Sam Morril promoting his special. And Bobby fucking hates it. Watch this.
We're starting now. So, welcome to the podcast, episode whatever. My name is your host. We have Kalila in the room.
My name is your host.
My name is your host.
Look at that.
Like I said, it hasn't kicked in yet.
How much Ritalin? Bobby, you got to laugh with something new. Enjoy it.
Oh.
Wow. That was a dig. I don't write enough?
What?
Is that what that dig was? I don't write enough jokes?
I don't know. You've said that to me once.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. So, right away, mind you, once again, Rick's not supposed to be there. So Bobby's already flustered. He can't even introduce himself right. My name is your host. What the fuck is happening here? So Sam and them, they're all like, they're just going with it. I'm surprised Sam's not more pissed. I'd be like, motherfucker, the special just came out. It's on Prime. I can't even sell the thing to Netflix. Bruh. I need numbers, man. Can you fucking get out of here? Please. But no, Bobby's the one that's really pissed. And Rick says, oh, no, I'm just bringing back heat that you brought to me back in the day. And Rick's going to just shit all over this thing. This is just 4 minutes in. That's how flustered Bobby is. He hasn't even done the introduction. It's 4 minutes in. Now we get to about a half an hour in. And mind you, once again, Rick is not supposed to be there. Watch this.
You should back me up on this because I'm being honest, and this is the truth. Am I being too loud for your dog?
I don't know, just in case. You don't like fireworks, I'm sure,
Okay.
TigerBelly is explosive.
All right.
Nah, look at that. Rick he's just going to pull the fucking laughs out of whoever's around. He's going to pull the laughs out. And the one thing you have to understand about Rick Glassman is if he even gets a whiff of the fact that you don't like it, game over. Game the fuck over, because he's going to push it as far as he possibly can, because he knows he holds the power to end up commanding the entire situation. And Bobby's sitting here trying to bitch and be a prima donna, talking about old shows. I fire. I'm going to just do this. I'm going to fire this and blah, blah, blah. I think he's actually talking about, if I remember correctly, he's talking about a time where he ended up firing his opener for like being too dirty or something like that without the club's permission ahead of time. He just ended up doing it. That's just it. I'm Bobby Lee. Listen to this.
So until I really took a look at you perform, I went, right? Because before, if you don't have a context, because they say there's 4,000 comics in LA alone, in LA County alone.
Wow.
Okay? And who knows the amount of open micers on top of that, right?
3,900.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Bobby, so look at his face. This guy is fucking pissed. Sorry, Bobby. Rick has got you beat, dude. And he knows it. Bobby knows. He's like, I'm in for this shit for at least another 45 minutes. At least. And he doesn't want to put up with none of this shit. And look at Rick. Nice and calm. Because he knows, dude. He's fucking looking into Bobby's soul right now. And Bobby is fighting for his life. And let's see.
So anyway, right? So, I mean, are you nice to everybody? Because no. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Look at it. See?
Slime.
He even gets Bobby to laugh. That's how fucking strong this guy's comedic vibe is. Even when he's the only man that can piss on you and tell you it's raining, and you gladly open your mouth and fucking swallow all that bullshit. That's how powerful Rick Glassman is. It's a little sus. It makes you feel like, is he tapping into something that most of us can't tap into? Is he really like this ethereal being that's just like beyond the human spectrum? Like he's powerful dude, I'm telling you. He's powerful dude.
You're building up the slime.
No. What I'm saying is
I'm going to call
slime...
you Yorukusaki because you were covered in ooze.
Look at that.
That's the
So what I'm saying is that...
Still getting him. He's just going for him. And listen, let's actually listen to that Bobby Lee story. This is kind of crazy. Bobby, he's always been prima donna type motherfucker, but this shit, he talks about how he brutally fires his opener at the beginning of the weekend, mind you. You're supposed to have the guy there the whole weekend. And he's like, yeah, you never did that? They're all like, no, we don't do that shit. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I've had that happen with people before.
But he doubles down the second show. What goes even dirtier? Because you know that rebellious thing when people tell you what not to do and you do it anyway? I've done that before, right?
Yeah, he did 2 grandmother pussy. He went back to back.
Both sides of the family.
Yeah, I'm doing all the tags tonight, too.
Yeah. And afterwards, I walked up and I go, hey, dude, you're fired.
Wow.
Wow.
And he goes, you can't do that. I just did.
Look at that. Every single, both, you notice that? As soon as he said that, wow, everybody's like, whoa, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck? Sam's like, what the fuck? You know, a year ago, that could have been Sam. Sam wasn't selling tickets like that. 1-2 years ago. He's barely selling tickets now. God damn it.
And he's supposed to be with you for the whole weekend?
Yeah. And he left.
Did you notify the club first, or did you just?
No, I walked up to the manager. I told this guy. He goes, I know. And I go, I just can't have him on. And she goes, I agree. And she fired him.
Wow.
Yeah. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
You never have done that.
No.
Oh, look at that. Let's go back to that a little bit. So, right away, Bobby's like, you can do that. You're allowed to do that. You know that, right? And they're like, wait, what? No, you're not. You can't, without the club's permission? What are you talking about?
Wow.
Yeah. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
You never have done that.
Look, even Sam, he's like, yeah.
And she fired him.
Wow.
Yeah. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Look at his face. Yeah. He's like, doesn't know how to answer that. He's never done that before. Because sometimes you just gotta, take your licks, bud. Bobby's like, nah, man, I stomped my feet around. I fucking fired him. I went on my back on the floor. I started stomping and screaming and kicking. And next thing you know, manager comes over. Yep, we got rid of him. They're all like, no, we've never done that.
You never have done that.
No. It'd be great if that comic became like a megastar.
That's
that comic
right,
ended up being Steve Jobs.
And there it goes. Not even fucking missing a beat. Not even missing a beat. Rick saves that whole vibe. Thank God. Thank God. Because Bobby's basically just digging himself into a hole. Nobody's on board with them at that point. So if it wasn't for Rick crashing this podcast, this guy would have already fucking brought the thing to a screeching halt 35 minutes in. Now listen to this. Mind you, once again, Somehow, we're not thinking about Sam's special. The one that came out on Amazon Prime, you know? We're supposed to be here for Sam's special. Sam's supposed to be here for Sam's special. And all we're thinking about is Rick. And I told you already, Sam's special was no good. Bruh. No good at all. And then he goes and tells this story about how like he can't follow his opener. And I'm like, the special, it's starting to make a lot of sense. You know what I mean? You hear these kind of stories. Guy's supposed to be a headliner, can't follow his feature or his opener, whichever one. You got problems.
I was doing a New Year's at a show in Indiana, and the guy his act wasn't strong, but his closer buried me every night. It killed. I'd never seen a bit hit so hard, and the closer was I went to a Backstreet Boys concert recently, and I thought, I saw them serenade a woman on stage and give her a rose and do a dance. And I thought, what if I did that to a guy? And he would bring a guy on stage and do a sound cue and start like humping the guy. And it was like,
Bobby, there's nothing wrong with that.
It was like
nothing wrong with that. Rick butts in. There's nothing wrong with that, Bobby. You know? Now, Sam, listen to this. Sam's talking. Sam is a comic from New York City. He's supposed to be a successful comic from New York City. In the comedy world, it's like rap, almost. On the East Coast, you're New York, baby. On the West Coast, you're LA. Everything in between and everything on those coasts that's not those things might as well not exist, okay? Now, Sam's talking about how he's doing an act in the middle of Indiana. God knows what kind of comedians are coming out of there. Now, you're supposed to be a comic from New York. You're supposed to be slaying. This guy can't follow a fucking Backstreet Boys joke in the middle of goddamn Fort Wayne, Indiana. Now, if that story right there is any kind of reflection on what this comedy special was like, I dare you to go watch it for yourself. I dare you. Now, let's listen to how Sam handled this.
I remember
That's a funny bit.
I remember calling a friend and putting it on speaker and being like, listen to what I have to follow. It was like standing ovation level murder. And the joke is basically like, in Indiana, how funny is it to be gay?
Yeah.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
And it would be like 10 minutes of me having to dig out of this hole because my material just wasn't working after something like that.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. He had to dig himself out of that hole every single night. By the end of the weekend, he's like, I just fucking hate this guy. Can't follow him. Guy can't follow him. What's he going to do? Now, this is where Rick, right after this joke, this is where Rick really starts to command the room from them. And as far as it's concerned for Bobby, it ain't pretty.
Say something, all right, man? Am I being too crazy?
No, I like
You look at me like I'm going crazy.
I'm looking at you that way?
Yeah. Like...
No, that's just my face.
Whoa, hold up. Right away. Bobby, everybody's looking at you like you're crazy. Because you're still doing a podcast with a girl who's been trying to cuck you since the day she met you. Okay? This is not a chick that people really approve of in the public eye. I mean, I'm now that I'm looking at it, I feel like TigerBelly used to have 1 million subscribers on this channel. And it wouldn't surprise me that now that they're sitting at 903K, nothing to snark at. You know, congratulations. We are way behind that, brother. But wouldn't surprise me if they lost 100K just off of this breakup alone. So everybody, Bobby, is looking at you like you're crazy. Let's continue.
Yeah, don't do this with your face, okay?
Oh,
That's what I like.
Did you guys get back together?
No, we haven't now.
Oh, well, then why you...
You're right.
Bickering?
My bad. Okay? God, I regret you coming on.
I can honestly. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go.
There you go. See, now the truth is starting to come out. Bobby is like, dude, this has been going on for 40 minutes now. You're about to end up fucking my ex-girlfriend. This is bullshit. Bobby's like, what are you doing here? but he wants to try to play it off, and he's looking right at Kalila. You can see look at this bottom left-hand corner frame. He ain't looking at Sam. He's looking at Kalila, and he's got his hand out for Rick. He's like, trying to play it cool. No, I'm just kidding. Just stay. No, stay. Oh, yeah. And Rick's like, please, dude, come on.
Hey, Rick.
July 9th.
You have to. No, you have to.
Very excited. I'm gonna go.
You have to say. So here's what I don't even know. Oh yeah, I know what I'm going to say. Okay, but it's not like there are.
So now, watch what Rick's about to do here. This is a classic alpha male move. So he says, no, I'm going to leave. Looks like he's about to get up. But what does he end up doing instead?
That don't have no, stay. Yeah, do that.
Look at him.
Jesus Christ.
Road comics who do what?
So there
Goes under the table.
There are some D rooms.
Yeah.
Right. They just how you have you ever been to a comedy club?
Look at that. You couldn't embody Rick better than this right here. That's the vibe. Rick is taking over the show. And he's promoting his date, July 9th. I don't even know what it is. He just keeps saying July 9th. It's probably just a show. He's not filming a special, nothing. Sam is supposed to be promoting his special. Rick is not letting that happen. And now Rick's dog has taken his place in the podcast. Look at that. Fucking hilarious. And Rick, I'm telling you right now, he just continues to flaunt his goddamn power. Watch this shit.
And then he would. It made no sense. He would always just like when the
under
drum
the
solo hit,
table.
he would just go like boom,
Moving around.
and it would explode. I'm like, I don't even understand why this is funny.
Yeah.
But it was murdering. and afterwards, I was like, hey man, is there any other thing you could do? You know, and it's just like really
Look
not.
at it. So now Rick is just shuffling around at the other end of the table. He's just like, and he's trying to crouch underneath. And it's obvious everybody's paying attention to him. They're all trying to have this conversation about Phil Collins. I can see it coming in the air tonight. I don't even remember how the conversation got here. Okay? They're all talking about the drums. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. And fucking Rick's under there just shuffling around the table, doing shit with his dog. Now, they just keep going about the Phil Collins shit. And if you think Rick is going to let them get away with that story without him having an input, you're goddamn sadly mistaken, my friend, okay?
Drowning. What a cruel thing to do.
Yeah.
Not lend a hand.
Because everyone's so focused on when the drums actually come in, and it's such a great song.
Yeah.
But like I've always
There's
thought
drums
that,
in the song?
The drums are supposed to be his heartbeat right before it gets out.
Come back, please.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Look at how
What is it?
pissed Bobby is. Come back. He's like, are you serious? Because now they have to, Rick is behind the producers. So now they got to film Rick on the producer cam, which is shittier quality. It's this fucked up wide lens. You know, they got the other producer. He's doing the handheld cam. I mean, these guys, they get this extra handheld cam. They hardly ever use the angle. What's it all for? You know what I mean? You got this, you're paying this guy for practically nothing, okay? And only thing he's filming is the back of this other producer's head. Look at this. This guy doesn't even have the camera pointed at anybody who's on the show. It's pointed right at the back of this producer's neck. So now Rick's back there, and it's more distracting. Like when they go to cut to Rick's angle, they're going to have the producers all in there. And Bobby doesn't want the audience to see these fucking jamokes. So he's getting pissed. He's like, come back, dude. Come back. Now, Rick's not just going to give in like that. You think Rick's not going to make this about him? You're crazy.
It's more distracting this way, so go back. No. Rick, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing, dude? What's wrong with you?
Don't make more of this. This isn't my fault. Don't make me make a meal out of this. I'm sorry. I had one little thing.
Look at that.
Okay, look.
He's that good.
Let me ask-
He's that good, that fucking Glassman, dude. He is that goddamn good. And it's fucked up because he continues to make it a whole thing, right? Then he says he has this one little interaction right before he leaves. And it's with Kalila. And if you know any of the history between Bobby and Kalila, you know, she's talked a lot of shit that's made it seem like she's either done stuff behind his back or really wanted to, or tried to get him into open relationship type deals. It's quite frankly, I mean, Bobby's in a better place for being without her, but you got to ditch her in this podcast stuff because check out how awkward this kind of situation is right here. Listen closely to this.
What are you talking about?
I'm
Rick,
glad it happened.
let me know
I'm glad
when
it
you need to
happened.
drop him off.
Okay, who's dropping what off?
I'm gonna watch Alvin. for
How is
the next time.
Sam? How is Sam getting home?
Look at that. You notice how she doubled back on that. So almost like while everybody's laughing and stuff, she tries to kind of like slip in this little like, hey, Rick, let me know when you're getting ready to drop off the dog. Right? So immediately Bobby picks up on this. He's like, dog? What the fuck? Whose dog what? What are you talking about, dog? Who's dropping what? So now when Kalila goes to say something about it, she says, I'm going to watch Rick's dog for him. Right? But I don't know. To me, it kind of sounded a little strange. Because Rick lives in LA, Kalila lives in LA, Bobby lives in LA. So now, I mean, Rick might have just got this dog, but he didn't get him that afternoon. So has Kalila been hanging out at Rick's house? And Rick is so fucking powerful. Rick's like, I'd fuck this guy's ex-girlfriend. I wouldn't give two shits about it. You know what I mean? Then I'll go on his podcast. I'll trash the whole goddamn thing. Get her real fired up. Get her nice and hot. Because she sees all those laughs I'm going to get. She sees the way I fucking command that room. It's over. She's going to be in the back corner.
Yes.
Saying it ever.
Yes.
Saying it all, baby. Listen to this.
It was great. What are you talking about?
I'm
Rick,
glad it happened.
let me know
I'm glad
when
it
you need to
happened.
drop him off.
Okay, who's dropping what off?
I'm gonna watch Alvin. for
How
the
is
next
Sam?
time.
How is Sam getting home?
Uber.
I'm gonna watch up. She's fumbling. She doesn't know what. And Rick's out of there. You see Rick, he's out, dude. Rick's like, I am not sitting around waiting for her to answer that goddamn question. Look how
Right,
fast he
well,
gets at
I'm
it.
Rick,
glad it happened.
let me know
I'm glad
when
it
you need to
happened.
drop him off.
Okay, who's dropping what off?
Look at him. Rick's like,
I'm gonna watch
"Beep."
Alvin. for
How
He's
is Sam?
fucking
How is Sam
gone.
getting home?
Uber.
Goodbye.
You're
That's Rick doesn't even wait around for that. He's like, dude, this chick's blowing up the whole goddamn spot. Bobby's not supposed to know that we're fucking yet, girl. He's like, come on. What are you doing? What are you doing? Rick was so goddamn out of there. That's just good shit right there. I was very surprised that's probably the first episode of TigerBelly that I've watched in like a good year and a half, maybe 2 years almost. It's been that bad that I was just like, I can't even watch this shit anymore. Because it could be the same exact show, but now that there's the stigma of like, oh man, this is a guy who broke up with this girl who was a nobody before he met her. And she's so fucking strange too. And they're still doing this thing together, and they were living together for a long ass time, and she's still friends with all his friends, and you're crazy if you think that she wasn't out getting fucking plowed the second that they broke up. You're crazy. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. Never be the same. Yeah. Oh, man. So another podcast I wanted to talk about is this Kill Tony. I kind of never really understood the whole gimmick of this show. If you're watching this show and you don't know what Kill Tony is, for one, I'm very surprised. The whole thing of this podcast is, talking about other podcasts. I figure if you clicked on it, you probably might know at least something. In case you're one of the people who don't know, Kill Tony is basically they get on stage It's like a little panel of comedians. They're not really judges. They're just kind of just there. And they pick names out of a hat. All these people sign up open mic style. They pick names out of a hat. They pull the people who got chosen on stage. They let them do 1 minute of stand-up. Sounds simple enough, right? But the show has actually gotten so big somehow that, it's hundreds of people there live while it's going on. And then it's also an audio podcast. They take the audio from the show. They upload it directly to like Spotify, all that stuff. You can listen to it anywhere. So now, with that being said, now you have the podcast audience and you have the live audience. So it's kind of like hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people potentially watching this because it's gotten that big. Once again, I don't know how. How that's happening is beyond me. Because on paper, it sounds like a good format. You see the shit, and it's basically a bunch of famous comedians shitting on people whose dreams it is to be a famous comedian and pretty much not offering them any kind of advice. Not being like, hey, your set was bad, but you could have done this. Nothing like that. It's pretty much them getting torn apart for the way that they look or how they act or this and that. And that could be fine on its own. But it's odd because it's like every time somebody's up there actually trying, they get shit on the most. And every time some A-boff runs up there who's like half brain dead, just garbling off bullshit or screaming at the top of their lungs, Tony fucking loves it. Him and the boys eat the shit up. They're like, hey, you're now a regular. You're going to be here every week. We're going to promote you. You're going to sell tours, theaters, everything, the whole nine. You're stealing jokes off of Twitter? We got you. So I wanted to get into how bad the format of this show is and kind of give you an idea of like what it is that actually makes this show bad. If you happen to be one of the people who fell for this facade, let's take a second look at it and actually break it down so that you can see the show for what it actually is. Now, we got two very, very, very funny special guests on the show. This is Shane Gillis and what the fuck is the guy's name again? I forget. James McCann. There you go. It's literally written on the episode. Why didn't I just read it? See, I might end up being one of the next regulars on Kill Tony because my brain is not working right now. So this first guy we're going to check out, he's like one of the Kill Tony regulars. They're like, this guy's made history. He's been on stage like 8 times in one night because he's that good at comedy. Wait until you get an earful of this dog shit.
I haven't been on a date in 2 years. The last time I went on a date was to the movie Sing 2. Now, I was so excited, but I didn't want to be a pedophile, so I brought someone with me.
Now, I know for anyone listening, even watching, that was pretty hard to understand. I'll give you a small breakdown on what the fuck this dude is even talking about. He said I don't know. He's stupid. He's fat, stupid, tall, slow. He's like, man, I wanted to do something with my afternoon. I don't have many brain cells to rub together. I'm going to go see a kid's movie. I don't even know what the name of the movie was because I can hardly understand this guy myself. But he said he didn't want to seem like a pedophile when going to watch the movie. So he brought somebody with him. Probably some young chick, right? So that's the beginning of this minute-long set. And I'll tell you right now, folks, if you had only 1 minute left to live, play back this set. It will seem like the longest minute of your goddamn life. Let's listen to this.
So excited, we shotgun Red Bulls in a parking lot. I go to the ticket office, and I'm like, 2 for Sing 2! And I'm so excited. And then I realize there's people smiling. There's people telling my date thank you. And then I realize they think that's my special needs chaperone.
There you go. That's the big punchline to this. Now he's just going to try to expand on that punchline and get even crazier and dumber and more stupid with the whole thing. And the way that he comes off, it seems like he actually has mental problems. I don't think he does. I think he's just really dumb. He might have fell on his head or something, cleft palate maybe. But he doesn't seem like a special needs person. And for some reason, Tony loves it. Wait until you hear how he ends the set and how quick Tony interjects and starts praising this guy.
They just cut any chance of me getting a kiss on the cheek. So I owned it. I got a free sticker. I got a sippy cup. You know, I was happy. They can't tell a retarded guy not to talk during the movies. Oh my God, the gorillas are back! Yes! Thank y'all so much. That's been my time.
Exactly 1 minute. I love this thing. You guys gave.
Look at that. Exactly 1 minute. Tony's clearly gay. Let's just say that Tony is clearly gay.
Yes.
So yeah, they just praise like these types of people, and it's really really hard to watch. They even got, now this guy that comes up next, he's actually one of like the Joe Schmoes that they pull out of the bucket, right? And they immediately start trashing this guy. It's like his first time on stage at this magnitude, with an audience of this magnitude. So the guy's clearly nervous, and you can hear him. He's very nervous, and Tony immediately just starts going for the guy's throat.
That's great news. That's great news. I got to make a real concerted effort around these parts. All right. Okay, is that time? No, I don't know. Is there a clock?
Are you done? Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
How embarrassing is that? That's so fucked up. Like, you cut the guy off. At the end of the minute, it's supposed to be the meow that you heard right after Tony talked shit to the guy. That's when they're supposed to be done. If the guy wants to end his set early, he can end his set early. But to interrupt and be like, "Are you done? Jesus fucking Christ." So now they start talking to the guy. They interview these folks after they do their minute. And usually the special guests, they just tear these fucking people apart. Shane Gillis, he's a little more respectful when it comes to this kind of stuff. He still cracks jokes about the guy, but he kind of does it in a little bit more of a lighter way than Tony would, you know? He doesn't just go for the guy's jugular right away. And then he gets a nice little response afterwards.
Are you aware? Is that blood all over your leg?
Oh, thank you for noticing. Is there a doctor in the house?
What is that?
I thought you got nailed to the cross earlier.
Look at that. So now Shane's getting a nice little pop. Red Band jumps in with the sound bite, really brings it home, you know? He brings in that holy sound bite, that real Jesus on the cross type sound bite, you know? And the crowd's loving it. Tony's even loving it. But I think Tony gets a little jealous of the fact that Red Band gave him a little backup and really boosted the presence of his joke like that. You know, he really kind of like brought that joke home. So now Tony wants to ride Shane's coattails and he wants to throw in Jesus jokes. The joke has already been done. Red Band did the Jesus soundbite like 3 times in between that initial time and the time code that we're about to cut to. Tony's just late to the party, but look at the way he treats Red Band because of it. Watch this.
A very giving audience. A very giving audience.
True. Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Jesus was born in a manger. You live in a van. How's life going, Jeffrey?
Pretty good. I'm doing it on purpose.
What?
Look, so now Tony comes with the one Jesus joke, and he went and looked back at Red Band like, "Come on, you're not going to back me up on this?" Like, Mind you, like I said, Red Band's been smashing that goddamn. He's like me with the shocked meme. It's like he's been breaking his finger on this goddamn thing. So he's over it. And Tony pushes some more Jesus.
Started in Cleveland.
Started in Cleveland.
And mostly in Cleveland.
There we go. I forgot I had to skip ahead a little
Mostly
bit.
in Cleveland.
I did do some sets in Chicago, Nashville.
Jerusalem. Hallelujah. If you're going to fucking do it. Jesus fucking sweet.
See? So now this guy is still trying to squeeze water out of a rock, and Red Band's over it. But he wants to fucking take stabs at Red Band for not backing him up. Once again, all because he just wants to ride the coattails off of Shane's laughter. Because when people like Shane are around, everybody else starts to realize that Tony's not fucking funny.
Head over here. My God. Oh, you're over it? Good. I'm glad you're over it, Red Man. Oh, moving forward with all of your creative nature. Jesus Christ.
Lord's name. He's right there.
Good Jesus Christ.
See? Tony's still trying to suck his own dick. He's still trying. Hey, come on, keep pushing with the Jesus. It's done, man. And the fact that he's treating Red Band like this is a fucking shame. Red Band was Rogan's first producer. Rogan kicks this guy to the side. Now Red Band has been doing this thing with Kill Tony for like years now. They started in LA. Once COVID happened, these guys were like ready to file for unemployment. They were going to really be out on their asses with this thing. So they end up making the move to Texas, where the mask laws and the open venues were a little more lax. Probably Red Band's idea. And they start doing the show, I think, at the Vulcan downtown Austin. So then Red Band ends up buying a club at downtown Austin. I think it actually might have been the Vulcan. Don't quote me on that. But he buys a club at downtown Austin. They started now doing the show, Kill Tony, at Red Band's place. So now Red Band is not only part of creating the show with Tony, but he's also, kind of keeping the thing alive. And it's a very symbiotic relationship there. But now, for some strange reason, they're doing it at Joe Rogan's place. A guy who doesn't need any of the money, whose club doesn't need any of the exposure. It seems to me like Tony might be getting sick of this guy and trying to squeeze him out. And his behavior is very alarming because, when it comes to this kind of stuff, this formulaic show right here, there's not very much fat on something like this. And as shitty as it is, you kind of do have to keep all the pieces together to make the formula work. If somebody like Red Band was to disappear out of the picture, the show would probably fall apart. I don't think Tony realizes that, but you know what they say, you don't realize what you got until it's gone. So, now they got the people that come out, they try to do the stand-up for a minute and then they get shit on. But the regulars always end up being somebody that's like got like a disability or just not funny. It's like, it's very strange. And this guy comes up and he's really nervous, but he comes off as somebody who has a mental disability because of how nervous he is. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of fell for it. Like, he's not putting on an act. He actually sounds like this because he's probably having a stroke on stage.
5. And what is you have some kind of like condition or something? You got a little wobbly left hand and a little speech something. What's going on with you?
I am very nervous.
Oh, that's it? That's it? I thought he was going to say a light case of cerebral palsy.
We could say that too. If that's better, hey.
Absolutely.
There's not for real nothing?
I don't think so.
See, now Shane's even like, wait, you're sure? Because I'm not going to lie, this guy seems like he has Tourette's or something. Like, it's clear this guy has never been to a doctor a day in his life. But yeah, Shane's even like, yo, you sure you don't got nothing? Like nothing at all, And right after he makes this comment, they go back and forth, talk about it a little bit. They go, hey man, is there a doctor in the audience? Anybody want to diagnose this guy? And Shane makes this comment that kind of immediately exposes how shitty this show actually is. Literally in one sentence, he encapsulates how unbelievably dumb this show is. And I'm here for it.
Physician's assistant, would you say that his condition is nervousness? What do you got? What do you got for this one?
Bro, say you have something, you'll be a regular.
Oh.
What the fuck? There you go. I mean, literally nobody could have said that more perfect than it was said at that exact moment. This kind of what the show boils down to. If you're fucked up or your comedy sucks, I mean, more than likely you're going to have a shot at this. And nothing makes that more apparent than the William Montgomery. This is like the guy. If it's not Tony, it's William. He's like the guy when it comes to Kill Tony. For some reason, this guy is very beloved in this little Austin circle. So much so that it's actually made me question other people's sanity at the fact of them liking him. I actually saw, this is not a joke, this was real. You can feel free to go back and fact check me on this. I actually watched an episode of Joe Rogan where the Black Keys, a band that I actually held in a very high regard, they ended up talking about how much they like this guy, right? Not anything weird to say, you know, you're a famous musician. They tend to like comedy a lot. It's like a rock star form of entertainment. It's not surprising. It wouldn't be surprising for a rock star to be like, hey, I really like Dave Chappelle, or I really like, I don't know, Jim Gaffigan even, you know? Anybody who's actually worth the shit in the comedy world, who's actually proven themselves in the comedy world and can actually make people uncontrollably laugh. This William Montgomery guy is none of those things. And I'm going to show you right now why.
Did anybody else hear this? Aaliyah wasn't wearing a seatbelt?
Look, that was a very quick joke. And it may have been a witty joke if it was told back in like 2001, maybe. He was making a joke that is so old that when my best friend heard it, she's a little older than me, she didn't even know what he was talking about. I thought that she actually might have gotten that reference. She had no idea. That's how old this guy's joke is. He's talking about Aaliyah, who's an R&B singer who ended up dying in a plane crash back in like the late 1990s, early 2000s, somewhere around there. That's how, so this guy is coming to the stage like he's got this hot new minute, and he's telling jokes that are 20 years old. So that, like, the jokes themselves are not 20. The fucking references and premises are, which is even worse. Not to mention that this guy can't even memorize 1 minute of stand-up. He's literally holding his notes in his hand. Bruh. So let's see how the rest of this goes. We're literally 4 seconds in. He's already telling a joke with a 20-year-old premise.
You know, with this whole Palestine-Israel debacle, I heard somebody say what we need now more than ever is Jesus. And I feel like if Jesus were to descend from heaven, he'd be a little torn. Because on one hand, you have the guys who think if you commit jihad, you get 99 virgins in heaven. And on the other side, you got the guys who sent you to heaven.
Look at the face on this guy. He's so fucking proud of that joke. This is mind-blowing. That I'm happy that I paused it right here to capture this fucking moment. This guy is so unbelievably proud of that joke. That is the most unpolished shit I have ever fucking heard of. This is the 4th time that I've watched this episode, trying to do time codes and stuff like that, getting this thing prepped for the show. I still don't even know what that fucking joke's even about. That's how bad that joke was. He's holding this notepad piece of paper on there reading off of it, that joke has to be at least 95% of it. It was so wordy. Halfway through, he goes to take a huge breath to finish the joke. Right there, you have to know that that shit is too fucking long. Nobody's following that shit. A stenographer couldn't follow that fucking joke. And that's what they get paid to do, bud. Like, they get paid to follow the shit people say. A stenographer would have a stroke trying to follow that shit. And his face says it all. He's so fucking excited about it. He's like, everyone's fucking loving it. I can't believe even a single person laughed.
Yeah, okay, computer. That is my impression of a sarcastic Radiohead fan. That's a pretty good one, I think. All right.
No, it's not a good one. And I'll tell you why. That's the most fucking, like, hack form of comedy to me is when people go, bam, bam, bam. They make some impression, bam, 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 and they go, that was me doing this and this and this. For one, right out the gate, you know it was a shitty impression because they probably sounded nothing like what it was that they were trying to impersonate. And then number two, if you have to explain your joke after telling it, it's a shitty joke. Sorry, I have to break that down to you. Sorry, William, it's fucked. Not even the Black Keys can save you. And I'll tell you what else can't save you. That goddamn shirt. This guy comes on stage looking like... See, this is... A guy like this is the type of person that would make fun of trans people. He'd be the first person to talk shit about him on stage. Guaranteed or your money back. Guaranteed or your fucking money back. This guy... It looks like the most trans thing at the Joe Rogan Comedy Mothership. I'm questioning everything about him. And I'm hitting soundboards like motherfucker right now. Red Band would be proud. Okay? I'll tell you right now. God damn, that sound couldn't have came any later. It's time to get a new iPad, folks, because this one is fucking dying. It's dying just like this guy's sense of style. I don't know what the fuck is happening here. I don't know if he's going for like this Gallagher type look, like he's getting ready to smash a couple watermelons or something on stage. But everything about this guy is outdated. Let's see how Tony likes this set, because Tony, for some reason, likes everything this guy does.
Right. I asked my cousin, didn't you start an OnlyFans for your dog? And he said, it's a coyote, you dumbass. Okay, that's my time ending on that one.
That was stupid as fuck. Let's hear Tony's reaction.
Fuck yeah. William Montgomery coming in, guns a-blazing, looking better than ever, I must say.
Dude, this is... I have to be going crazy. I have to be going crazy. There's no way that this guy is making a living doing this shit. And Tony fucking loves it. Yes. He fucking loves it. Every time this guy tells a joke, another one. Tony wants a fuck another one. It really, it's mind. This is mind-boggling shit. I just it throws me off so goddamn hard. But for some reason, like I said, people just eat this shit up. I couldn't. I don't know. Sorry, folks. It's just not for me. Call me a square, but Kill Tony is not for me. Unless you're actually killing Tony Hinchecliffe, I want no part of it. So let's end it on a little bit of Steve-O's wild ride. I thought this was kind of interesting. He did an episode with Ethan Klein. And the only reason I found it interesting is because of how much like Steve-O kind of sucked on Ethan's dick, just over the fact that H3 has been on a little bit of a break recently. I know that kind of doesn't seem to make sense. Let me tie that all together for you. So recently, Ethan Klein, and who's the host of the H3 podcast, if you're wondering, him and his crew, they did a live show at the Greek Theater. Kind of a big deal, especially for a live podcast. A pretty big venue, 6,000 seats for just people to be sitting around talking and stuff. So now usually when people do these live podcasts, you have to prep for that kind of stuff. And then they do, them being the H3 podcast, they do their episodes live. So they also have to do live prep for their shows every single time they do them, which is about, 13 times a week or something like that. These guys are fucking constantly pumping out episodes. But the reason why this ties into Steve-O and why he's sucking Ethan's dick because of it all is because since that show, they haven't posted another episode because they're taking a break from the live show at the Greek. And nobody from Ethan's audience has seen anything with Ethan in it since that time. And since they're all obsessed little minions, Steve-O's kind of like looking at it as he's chomping at the bit to get that episode out because he wants to kind of steal a little bit of the H3 podcast audience, So I just thought that was kind of interesting because like Steve-O really lays it on thick. And actually, let's start with this. Steve-O's face tattoo. That is probably the craziest thing about this whole thing. When I even went to look at this episode, I was immediately caught off guard by this tattoo this guy got on his fucking face. Look at this thing. This guy got a play on the teardrop tattoos that gangsters get on their face. For those of you who cannot see this right now, everybody knows about the teardrops. It's like one teardrop for every person you killed. You see like cholos and like heavy gangsters, they all have it on their face. He got what looks to be like a pair of teardrops right next to his right eye. But they're not teardrops because right above his right eyebrow is a dick and balls. And those dick and balls happen to be spurting out those teardrops that appear to be on the side of his right eye. Probably one of the cringiest things I've seen all year. So once I opened up this podcast and saw that, I was kind of like, where else could this possibly go? And, not even a half an hour in, you could kind of, Steve-O just gives away the whole motive for even having Ethan on in the first place. But before we get to that, here's an even funnier thing. Steve-O was so blinded by the fact that he wanted to seize this opportunity of Ethan being on break that he completely forgot about the fact that he had banned Ethan for like the dumbest fucking thing ever in the past. Listen to this.
I'd love to get together with them. And right away I heard back from you and we've been bros ever since.
You answer that call when Steve-O reaches out.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And
we've been through a lot too. For example, you blocked me on social media.
Did I?
Yes.
Look at that. Ethan, you could tell Ethan's been waiting to bring that up. Look at him. He's got his neck back. Fucking looking at him. Yeah, you fucking blocked me, you fucking sad sack of shit. Steve-O, look at Steve-O's face. I didn't even see that. Look at him. He's so fucking worried right now. He's like, wait, what? Did I? I don't even remember that. What are you talking about, dude? Steve-O's worried right now. And wait until you hear what it was about. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Wait until you hear what he actually blocked him for.
That sounds right.
But was it because when you FaceTime somebody and Ethan didn't pick up?
No, it had to have been something.
That's it.
Look, so right away, his producers are like, was it this other childish ass thing that you got pissed off about? So apparently Steve-O went to like FaceTime him, Ethan that is, and Ethan didn't pick up. Because, I mean, Ethan's doesn't have a life or a business or employees or any of that kind of shit either. So, of course, he needs to pick up if Steve-O's FaceTiming him. So he doesn't, which is plenty good reason for Steve-O to block him. But Steve-O ends up saying, no, that's not it. So already Steve-O's crew knows that he's doing stupid, childish shit like this all the time. Listen to why he actually did block Ethan, though.
It was.
Wait, who was it?
I mean, we can cut it out if you guys don't want to talk about
I'm
it. But
here for it.
you were at Keemstar's house, and you're like, let me settle the beef, and you FaceTime Ethan, and like, I think you got pissed.
I don't think I would have cared.
Yeah, I
about
mean,
that.
it certainly
But I
wasn't a
remember
malicious
what you
thing.
told me at the time, because I was thinking like, oh, I should reach out to Steve-O, and I was going to Instagram, and it's like not found.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, what's happened to Steve-O? Is he not on Instagram? They're like, no, he's here. I'm like, oh shit, I'm blocked.
Look at
So
that.
what was it for?
So I texted you, and you're like, we used to text, and I didn't heart your fucking text. I swear to God.
Look, so they're all laughing about it, having a good time. Ethan's even trying to smirk about it too, but Ethan's like, I mean, at that point, I was kind of like contemplating like why I even ever considered you as a friend. You know what I mean? That was one of the craziest things I've ever fucking heard. So Steve-O's basically completely blocked this guy without even confronting him or saying anything, because every time Steve-O texted him, he didn't heart it or like it. Every single time he texted him. That's crazy. That's insane. That's insane. But listen to how his crew's like, yeah, you're fucking crazy with that shit.
You're like, you kept me hanging. And which I get.
Maybe it was like over and over and over, and I was like, oh, well, if he's not my bro, then he's not my bro.
Yeah. You're like, if you read it, leave a heart, right? And since then, by the way, I have changed my texting etiquette. I'm dropping hearts. You might have noticed I dropped one right now.
Dude, that's amazing.
I'm dropping thumbs ups.
Yeah, it's
that.
really tragic, like how sensitive I can be.
We all can be so sensitive.
It's not tragic. It's immature. You're a fucking kid. You literally have a dick, an ejaculating penis over your right eyebrow. Like, what else can we say here? And that's not even the craziest part about this. We'll end it on this note right here. So at the end of the episode, Steve-O does his little closing out, his closing notes type shit. And he always does it in like the most cheesiest way possible. But he said something at the end of this. He says this little cryptic like one-liner right as it's ending. And I wanted to bring that up because the reason for that one-liner is kind of fucked up. Let's listen to this.
Brother. There it is, folks. Ethan Klein. Every time I hang out with that guy, I seem to like him more and more. And yeah, there was that time. I'd forgotten all about it. But yeah, what can I say? I'm a sensitive guy. And I also really, really love you guys for sticking around to the end of the podcast. My wonderful, beautiful street team. What can we tell the street team? Shit's gonna get really weird here soon. That's all I'm gonna say.
Shit's gonna get really weird here soon. Now look at his guy
What can we tell
when he
the
says
street
that.
team?
He's, for one, this guy is the next Jeffrey Epstein. If you don't hear something about this guy in the next 5 years, I will be so fucking surprised. There's something about this guy. I don't know. Something's off about him. I don't know what it is. But he even for somebody who looks like he has as many skeletons in his closet as this guy does, he even is flabbergasted. He doesn't know what to say, right? Because of this.
Shit's gonna get really weird here soon. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right? That's all he's gonna say. Why is he saying this? Why is Steve-O saying this? I'll tell you. Because Steve-O has recently announced that he wants to get fake boobs, right? Now, I'm going to try to Google this, and then I'm going to repeat myself. Steve-O wants to get fake tits, okay? This isn't a joke. He thinks it's a joke, but it's not a joke. He actually wants to do this. So, right here, we have an article from E! News. God knows they've never lied about anything. The headline says, Jackass star Steve-O shares he's getting D-cup breast implants. That headline alone is enough to make heads turn, but I guarantee you, when he gets those D-cup tits, there's going to be a lot more heads turning. Steve-O has something to get off his chest, or rather, on it. The Jackass star shared plans to undergo breast augmentation surgery in order to go incognito and pull off more jokes, saying that level of commitment to comedy is quintessential. I don't get what's so quintessential about that, and I really don't understand how you can go incognito after being a man who plans to do no transitional anything to himself aside from getting a pair of fat old tits. That's literally so it's gonna be maybe funny to some people. I think it's kind of like weird because like, all right, it would be funny, right? In like a movie type scenario or maybe even a cartoon. Like you're watching an episode of Family Guy and Brian and Stewie are walking down the street and Brian's like, oh man, is that a guy with tits? You know, and then they do the cut and it's a guy with tits. He's walking down the street, looks completely normal, probably has a normal voice. And he's like, hey man, I'm just out here getting the mail. Like that's what you see. Or you see that in like Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. That's like one of those kinds of jokes, you know? But to be just a grown guy, to be like, I'm going to go and get this surgery just as a gag. I didn't lose a bet. There's really nothing behind it. It's clear that this guy's spiraling out of control. I mean, he literally just got a ejaculating penis tattooed over his right eyebrow. So this guy might not be the most stable-minded person. Listen to this quote by Mr./Mrs. Steve-O. I came up with the idea a few years ago to get a boob job and just film a bunch of legitimately funny hidden camera pranks with me in disguise. He said on July 3rd, he said this on the July 3rd episode of the X5 podcast. And then revealing so he wants to do this. He wants to basically have these fake tits, walk around town with hidden cameras to see people's reactions to it, right? And then reveal who he is. Go, hey, I'm Steve-O. Now, this is what I find strange about this. If you have to reveal who you are afterwards, right? Then you're just going to like completely disguise yourself. Are you going to do it as a woman? Are you going to do like some jackass bad grandpa type like special effects makeup? Either way, you're basically just like playing dress up and just, it's almost like a sexual fantasy. You're like playing dress up and then you want to like kind of just strut around town and see like whose dick you can get hard maybe. Or maybe if you just want to see who's going to like bite their lip at you or who's going to scoff at you, right? But either way, I feel like there's got to be some sort of pleasure that you get out of that. Now, you could disguise it and say it's for a joke, but I kind of think it's for pleasure, if you ask me, because nothing about that really says like, ha ha, I'm joking, aside from the tits. Bruh. Like, it's too far. It's way too far. And people say, yeah, commit to the bit. Not always like this. Doesn't always have to be like this. You know? I'm not going to lie, though. I'm definitely going to have to check him out. I mean, because you know he's going to flash them. There's going to be a picture of these tits out there somewhere. And you know somebody's going to fucking destroy themselves to it. Bruh. But to each their own. I mean, we can't change the world. The only thing we can change is how we react to it. On that note, I will leave you guys. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Lost Aux Media. We always love to have you. Make sure to catch us at youtube.com/@Lost AUX Media. That's youtube.com/ at Lost Aux Media. See, I can't even speak. I'm tired. I'm ready to go. You can catch those episodes every Wednesday on YouTube at 4 p.m. or you can catch the audio episodes same day, Wednesdays, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you catch your podcast. Those go up at 5 a.m. Until next time, thanks for watching.
And hold my fart like a bong rip.